In the quiet corridors of research institutions around the world, there are files marked unsolved, cases so perplexing that even our most brilliant minds can only stare in wonder at the evidence before them. The human mind craves understanding. We've split the atom, mapped the human genome, and sent probes to the edge of our solar system. Yet for all our technological prowess and scientific advancement, there remain phenomena so bizarre, so completely at odds with our understanding of reality, that they continue to humble even the most distinguished experts in their fields. In the high desert of New Mexico, nestled among the ancient mesas and adobe buildings of Taos, residents began reporting something extraordinary in the early 1990s. A persistent, low-frequency humming sound, described by those who hear it as resembling a distant diesel engine idling, has been tormenting roughly 2% of the town's population for over 3 decades. Dr. Joe Mullins, a professor emeritus of engineering at the University of New Mexico, led the most comprehensive investigation into what became known as the Taos hum. His team employed sensitive acoustic equipment, seismographs, and electromagnetic sensors throughout the valley. The results were as mystifying as the phenomenon itself. No identifiable source could be detected by any scientific instrument. The affected residents aren't suffering from a mass delusion or hearing condition. Medical examinations revealed their hearing to be perfectly normal. Some describe the sound as so intrusive it prevents sleep and causes severe distress, while others living mere meters away hear absolutely nothing. The hum appears to be selective, affecting only certain individuals with no discernible pattern, no correlation with age, gender, or medical history. Government agencies, including teams from Los Alamos National Laboratory, investigated potential military sources, underground gas lines, and atmospheric phenomena. Each avenue led to the same conclusion. The source remains completely unknown. In one of the most arid and desolate places on Earth, massive boulders, some weighing hundreds of pounds, have been caught in the act of moving across the desert floor, leaving perfectly straight trails behind them like signatures in the sand. For nearly a century, the sailing stones of Death Valley's racetrack playa puzzled geologists and physicists alike. The trails stretch for hundreds of yards across the flat lake bed, with some rocks appearing to make deliberate 90-degree turns or following parallel paths as if guided by an invisible hand. Early theories ranged from magnetic fields to underground seismic activity, but none could explain the precision of the movements or why only certain rocks participated in this mysterious migration. In 2014, researchers Richard and James Norris believed they had solved the mystery when they observed thin sheets of ice forming on the playa during rare winter conditions, creating a mechanism for rock movement. However, their explanation only accounted for some of the phenomena. Historical photographs show stone movements during periods with no recorded precipitation, and the perfectly straight-line trajectories of many trails remain unexplained by the ice rafting theory. The most puzzling aspect continues to confound experts. Why do rocks of similar size and composition, sitting mere feet apart, behave completely differently? Some remain stationary for decades, while their neighbors embark on journeys across the desert floor. On August 15, 1977, at 11:16 p.m. Eastern Time, the Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University detected something that made astronomer Jerry Amon grab a red pen and circle the printout data, scrawling "Wow" in the margin, a notation that would give the signal its enduring name. The signal lasted exactly 72 seconds, the maximum time the telescope's scanning system could observe any single point in the sky. It exhibited all the characteristics scientists theorize would indicate an artificial extraterrestrial transmission: a narrow bandwidth, high intensity, and origination from a point in space with no known celestial objects. The frequency, 1420.456 MHz, is particularly significant. This is the natural emission frequency of hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe, and falls within what scientists call the water hole, a quiet region of the electromagnetic spectrum where natural cosmic noise is minimal. It would be an ideal frequency for interstellar communication. Despite decades of searching with increasingly sophisticated equipment, the signal has never been detected again. Dr. Seth Shostak of the SETI Institute has noted that this one-time occurrence makes the WOW signal both compelling and frustrating. Every natural explanation proposed, from satellites to comets to terrestrial interference, has been systematically ruled out by careful analysis. The signal's precise location in the constellation Sagittarius, near the globular cluster M55, adds another layer of intrigue. This region contains hundreds of thousands of ancient stars, any of which could theoretically harbor advanced civilizations. Along Minnesota's North Shore, the Brule River approaches a volcanic rock formation and splits into two distinct flows. The eastern branch continues normally, cascading down a series of falls toward Lake Superior. The western branch disappears entirely into a pothole known as the Devil's Kettle, and no one knows where the water goes. Hydrologists have attempted to trace the missing water using every method at their disposal. They've dropped ping-pong balls, colored dyes, and even logs into the kettle, expecting them to emerge somewhere downstream or in nearby Lake Superior. Nothing has ever been recovered. The volume of water entering the Devil's Kettle is substantial, roughly half of the Brule River's flow during normal conditions. This represents thousands of gallons per minute vanishing into the earth without a trace. If the water were simply flowing through underground channels to rejoin the river or lake, the increased volume would be detectable downstream. It isn't. Geologists have mapped the underlying bedrock extensively, searching for cavern systems or underground channels that could explain the phenomenon. The area's volcanic rhyolite formation is typically resistant to the kind of erosion that creates large underground waterways. Ground-penetrating radar and seismic studies have revealed no significant voids beneath the kettle. Recent theories suggest the water might be following fractures in the bedrock to reach deep aquifers, but this fails to explain why no trace of the distinctive river water has been detected in surrounding wells or springs. In 1901, sponge divers working off the Greek island of Antikythera discovered what appeared to be a shipwreck containing typical ancient artifacts, bronze statues, pottery, and coins dating to approximately 50 BCE. Hidden among these treasures was a corroded bronze object that would challenge our understanding of ancient technological capabilities. When researchers finally examined the Antikythera mechanism using advanced imaging techniques, they discovered an intricate system of at least 37 meshing bronze gears designed to calculate astronomical positions with remarkable precision. The device could predict the positions of the Sun, Moon, and known planets decades in advance, account for the irregular orbit of the Moon, and even predict solar and lunar eclipses. The sophistication of the mechanism is staggering.
Professor Michael Wright of Imperial College London, who has studied the device extensively, notes that the gear trains demonstrate a level of mechanical engineering not seen again until the development of astronomical clocks in medieval Europe, more than 1,000 years later. The mystery deepens when considering the knowledge required to create such a device. The mechanism incorporates the metonic cycle, a 19-year pattern in lunar phases, and the callippic cycle, a 76-year refinement of lunar calculations. It also accounts for the Saros cycle used to predict eclipses, demonstrating an understanding of celestial mechanics that historians believed was impossible for the period. No contemporary references to similar devices exist in any ancient literature, and no comparable mechanical complexity has been found in any other archaeological site from the era. The Antikythera mechanism appears to be a singular achievement, suggesting